Greetings YouTubers, Dave here again. Today we are going to be talking about the soft close actuator for the Mercedes 220, W220, s430, s500, s600. So this thing, my opinion is these are kind of junk, and they usually leak from here, or in my case it was leaking from here, this little spout here, this little spout. So that's where it was hissing. Anyway, now first of all, there's a guy on YouTube, Frenchineer, who does a fantastic video, 2 or 3 of them, and I couldn't have done it without him. He's fantastic. And I'm going to do links below to 2 of his videos. One was kind of taking it out, and the second was putting it back in. Now, he spent a lot of time thinking about how to repair it. I was too chicken to do that. I didn't repair it. However, one of the things that I found was that A Premium it actually makes the Mercedes door actuator, and it is about $320, and I got it on Amazon, and it's perfect. Okay, now I love A Premium products. Now I'm a fairly well-to-do guy, and I do spend a ton of money on cars. I buy the best parts that I can, and I don't buy cheap Chinese junk. However, I've found A Premium is every bit as good as OEM. They may actually be the OEM manufacturer, but it is Chinese and it is excellent stuff. I recommend A Premium for everything. I bought 10 things from them and it's always been outstanding. This is no different. This is a great part, 325 bucks from Amazon, okay? However, warning, there's 2 kinds. One has this blue plug for the ESD system. I think it's ESD. So one that they sell comes with the blue plug, and one sells without the blue plug. Make sure you know which one you need. Therefore, I recommend you take the car apart, take a look at your wiring. This actually goes into the module that is when you're driving, up by your seat adjustment. So just by cracking open the control module, you'll be able to see if you've got this blue guy or not. Then this blue guy goes in here. I ordered the wrong one first, and I had to send it back and order the correct one, which does work. That's point number 2. Get the right one. Get the A Premium for only $325, much better than Mercedes 1000. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, it is impossible to get the unit out. And if you watch Frenchineer, he spends an hour trying to get it out. He finally wins, but barely. I tried to do it, and I simply could not get the unit out. You know, I can do the wiring and everything, but I literally couldn't get the unit out. And here's the other problem. I think I'm going to have to replace these every 2 years. Therefore, this is something I want to make easy for myself next time. Okay? So what I did, I went out and I bought myself an angle grinder. Okay? 30 bucks. Again, Amazon. Buy the cheapest one you can. And beware. There's 2 types of wheels. This is a cutting wheel, okay? This is the wheel that you cut with. Now there are some that are considered grinding wheels. You want the cutting wheel. This one I bought for 30 bucks, and this one happens to be a shawl. And it came with both grinding and cutting. So if I ever need to grind something, I've got it. Also, not a bad thing to have. I mean, seized bolts, sometimes you got to cut them off, and the grinder is a good thing just to have anyway. And 30 bucks, not too bad. And then what I did was I literally cut away a bunch of the sheet metal, and now we'll show a video of me cutting away the sheet metal. It's pretty extreme. So fasten your seat belts. Here it is. Down to here and up to here. And maybe that's going to be enough. think I'm going to cut this way so the sparks go the other way. Gee, I guess not. Didn't really think about the sparks. And there it is. Extra room to work on. That was pretty bad, huh? Anyway, it worked, and I was able to get everything out with ease. And it went back in with ease, and I had plenty of room to work to reconnect everything. So getting rid of a bunch of that sheet metal, I recommend highly. And plus, if you're going to do it again in 2 or 3 years, you might as well make the job easy for yourself in the future. Now, I'm assuming that everybody has a set of picks. You got to have these. Again, Amazon. With the picks, what we're going to discuss is how to get these vacuum connectors off. Nobody actually goes into how to do these. They have 4 clovers that go over the edge of that hold it in 4 places, and they're impossible to get undone. I had a hell of a time doing it. The only suggestion that I have, and it's not a particularly good one, is to take a pick and you, see if I can balance that there. You take a pick and you push it in at the base of 2 of the clovers, at the base where the 2 clovers come together, and you can pry this thing out. So you get in here in between at the base of 2 of the clovers, and with a pick you can pop it straight out. That's the only thing that worked for me. I couldn't find a specialized tool for it, and I'll try to put up something that shows how that gets done. But you know, just one straight pick, base of 2 of the pedals, pop it up, and it just came out. So that's there. Now let's talk about this. This little plug goes to your airbag. Okay. Now again, to get this guy out from the connector, you simply take your screwdriver and you just simply pry it back, and it comes right out. All it is just a little 2-pronger, and that's it. There's no screw, there's no retainer, nothing. However, there's a big problem with this. When you disconnect the airbag and you start the car will sense that there's something wrong, that the airbag is disconnected, which will set off your SRS light. The SRS error in general cannot be reset by a standard ODB reader. So the cheap readers that we have cannot reset that light. So if you take this thing out with the battery still connected and the car starts, you get that light, and you can't get rid of the light unless you go to a shop that has the full star diagnostics, because the SRS is considered a safety thing and they do not let amateur mechanics reset it. Oh my God. So moral of the story is, before you start this job, disconnect the battery. That way you can disconnect this and attach the new one without the SRS waking up to the fact that there was a problem, you won't have to go to the shop to have them reset it and charge $75 to do something because you're stupid like me. So disconnect the battery first, or you're going to get the SRS light. Okay, that's tip number 18. Next, this little doohickey here. This little guy is a channel, and what you're going to do is you're going to put the rod to the door opener in this channel. Yeah, you can see it right there. You're going to slide it in the channel, then you're going to lock it down like that. So you're going to slide it into the channel, and then you're going to lock it in. Okay? Now, this is hard to do if you're trying to reach under the door. If you're sitting like this, trying to get in behind, and this is behind, you can't see this. This is behind the unit. Don't do that. Lay down on the ground. Lay down on the ground so that you're looking up into the door with a headlamp, hopefully. But so you're looking up into the door, and then you can see it easily. And you can reach right up there and do it easy if you're laying on the ground on your back, looking up into the door. And having all that sheet metal cut away gives you a lot more room to get in there and get it done. That thing goes to, when the handle gets pulled, a rod pulls up. So you need to put that rod, slide it into the channel, lock it. That way, when you pull out, it pulls up. Okay, so that's how that works. But again, if you lay on your back, piece of cake. I watched Nick, Frenchineer, kill himself, sitting down, trying to get in there in the back and do it blind. Impossible. Lay down, look up, you can see it clearly. It's easy to work on. It's actually easy to do if you're on your back. One last thing. It's bizarre how this works. The pneumatic pump in the trunk wants to save itself. It doesn't want to run and run and run until it burns itself out. Believe it or not, Mercedes has in there, and I know most of you know this, but for those of you that don't, it's pretty bizarre. That little pneumatic pump can sense when there's a leak at one of the doors or the trunk or somewhere else. If there's a leak on one of the pipes, it will actually shut that pipe down. It will cease supplying air to that particular device, in my case, the front driver's door. It stopped supplying oxygen, vacuum, to save itself from just running and running and running until it broke. Okay? Now, the problem is, because mine malfunctioned, the computer, the machine already knew to stop sending vacuum to that particular door because it was broken, it was hissing, it was leaking. And even after I put the new one in, it still would not send any vacuum to that door because it knew that door was in trouble and it would just burn up the system. Okay. So what I had to do was I had to go in the back seat and I had to pull a particular fuse, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And that fuse, once you pull it out and leave it for about 5 minutes, 1 minute's not long enough. I had to leave it for like 5 minutes. Finally, the pneumatic pump will forget that there was a malfunction on the driver's door, and it will begin sending vacuum again. So even after you put the new one in, it still won't work until you pull that fuse and force the system to forget. Let's go look at which fuse it is, okay? Now, we are in the back seat. We're in the back seat, and down here is this little panel. A panel, that panel you pull off, and then it is this fuse, okay? So it's the yellow one, which I guess is what? Well, anyway, it's this yellow fuse here. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull that fuse out, leave it for 5 minutes, put it back, and miraculously you'll start getting vacuum to that door again. Fun little trip. Now I would imagine that you're not going to be stupid like me, that you, since you pulled the battery like I told you to, The pneumatic pump will have forgotten that there was a bad front door, and just pulling the battery is going to be enough to make the pneumatic pump forget and start supplying vacuum again. So if you did it the right way, which was killing the battery, you won't have to do the fuse trick, okay? But just know that the system will deliberately not send any juice, any vacuum to that door until it forgets that there's a problem. That is the last of my tips. I wish you all good luck, and it's a difficult job. It's a difficult job, no question about it. But anyway, have fun. Goodbye.